Zoomer Radio on the Afternoon Express. Good afternoon. Marilyn Lightstone, who hosts Nocturne, heard on our sister station, Classical 96.3, has a new show coming up on VisionTV. It's called Your All-Time Classic Hit Parade, and she has kindly dropped by to the studio to tell us a little bit about that. Hello, Marilyn.
Hello there, Norm. Hi.
Good. Hi. When I mentioned a moment ago that you were going to be on the show, I got a phone call from a fellow who said, "You got Marilyn Lightstone on?" I said, "Yeah, she's going to come by and chat." He started listing all your movies that you've been in.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
Yeah, in praise of older women.
I send him a check. No, I'm just kidding.
Here's the number to call. He went down the whole list. It's nice to see you. Nice to have you.
Marilyn, this is such a treat because when I was reading some background on this, I thought to myself, why wasn't this variety show put together sooner? These are now I want you to talk to me in your own words about what this is about, but from what I gather, these are those songs that we can't help but sing along to, that have so many wonderful memories to these tunes. When you were first approached about this, was it love at first sight?
Well, I wasn't approached about it. I made the approach. And it came from an idea I had one night when I was trying to post my final post of the day on Facebook, and I thought, well, what am I going to post tonight? And I always tried to have it something that was relevant to my generation, and that means people either born during the war, just before the war, or just after the war. And I suddenly thought, Patti Page, the Tennessee Waltz. Now, why that popped into my head, I really can't tell you, but I don't believe in things happening just by circumstance. Mm-hmm. You know, it just, there's a reason. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of went online and I found Patti Page's original kind of taping of it in some recording studio in New York. And there she is in a gorgeous gown and her hourglass figure, singing in this beautiful bell-like tones. And off I sent it off to, on Facebook for the last post of the day. And, on YouTube, you got these little black boxes underneath what you've just sent off, and it's either the other artist who've recorded that song or the other songs that this recording artist has recorded. So there under the one that I sent off was another Patti Page to Tennessee Waltz, but it looked very different. And so I hit on it, and there she is. She's about 60 years older, much heavier, wearing a kind of a floaty moo-moo dress, and she's singing in a supper club with a nice little orchestra behind her, and she's singing the Tennessee Waltz, and it's still pretty darn good for someone her age. Mm-hmm. But the thing that got me was the camera panned around the audience that were sitting in the front row, and all these, older men and women, her contemporaries, my contemporaries, your contemporaries, and they're all singing along with her, not out loud, but in mime. They all know the words. So I started thinking about this then, and how much I loved all this music, and whether it's the Tennessee Waltz or Chattanooga Choo Choo or by the light of the silvery moon or I don't know, so many songs that I never hear anymore.
Well, that's just it. I mean, there are so many songs. How did you pare it down to some of the ones you wanted on the show?
Well, I went through every single hit parade list from the time there was a hit parade list. I went through every single Billboard chart from the time there was a Billboard chart, and then I looked up the American TV show, the Hit Parade show, right, which was on from about 1949 to 1953. Now, they had a troupe of dancers, they had a group of singers, and they presented the hits of the week because everybody listened to the same songs on the same station, same radio stations, same TV stations. So I kind of looked at all this stuff and I thought, gee, I don't want to do a copy of the show, but there's something here. There's something here for my generation. There has to be a version of this. So I started talking about it with friends, and I said, oh, well, I see what you're going to do. You're going to sort of do clips of, Bing Crosby and whatever, and Andy Williams. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. And they said, oh, you're going to get a bunch of young singers, and they're going to do their version of it. And I said, no, I don't want to do that. I want the people to sing these songs for whom it meant as much as they meant to me. Mm-hmm. And I came up with a team of people that I'd known from my work in the past, and people I hadn't worked with for 40 years, that I hadn't seen in 20 years, people I'd just seen and heard once, and I thought, these are the people I want, these are the people I know are going to do the job. Mm-hmm. And they were all available, and they all understood what I was getting at, and the music meant the same to them. And I don't know, the whole thing was such a joyous experience.
This is such a great concept, and I mean this genuinely, because you can be at home watching this. You don't even have to know the song. Even la, la, la. There's something about these songs that you don't have to even know the lyrics. it makes you feel good. You sing
it
along.
does,
You
it
can be
does.
off key, and it does. You can be off key, and it doesn't matter.
It's in our DNA, Eva. I really do believe that. This made such an impression. I mean, we started listening to the radio when, 6 years old,
Yeah.
5 years old?
Yeah.
And we heard it like daily, every single day. It's kind of weird because I'm a classical radio host, right? People say, why would a classical radio host not want to do a classical, TV show? And I thought, well, classical music is something that I yearn for, that was like missing in my life when I was a kid. And I aspire to it. It means a great deal to me now. But the music that I loved as a child, that formed me, that formed my friends, that bound us together, were these songs.
Listen, we all have our own taste in music. I love my rock music and my classical, but all you have to do is play "Those Were the Days, My Friend" or a Doris Day song, and I stop and I have to crank it up. Way too many memories.
Not too many memories. That's the thing. All these songs come with memories.
Yeah.
And when I hear these songs on the radio now, because I've looked for them, once these songs said, we have to do something with these songs, I started, tuning in and saying, do we play these songs? And we do play them on AM7. I know we do. But there'll be a song from 1992 before it, and there'll be a song from, 2010 after it. The context was missing. And for me, it was the context and the background of these songs that made them meaningful to me. What was going on in my life at the time, what was going on in the world at the time, how these songs were written, who wrote them, who they wrote them for, that gave them the meaning and the shape.
So you mentioned that you got in touch with some friends.
Yes, I did.
Some that you hadn't been in touch with for a while.
A long time.
Like who? Can you mention some names?
Well, for example, Judy Marshak was the first one. I did a dreadful dinner theater show, the only dinner theater I ever did, in 1980 with Judy Marshak. And I just remember, she was much younger than me at the time, and I remembered her as someone who had a dimple in her voice. And I've always remembered her, and I thought, I want Judy Marshak. And then I'd heard Tom Allison sing at a benefit for the Canadian Theatre Museum. I heard him sing once, even though he's done a lot of work, but I don't get around very much anyway. I heard him once, and I thought, if I ever do anything, I want Tom Allison. And he's in the cast. Then there was a group that I found out about because I was looking for a venue for myself to do my own cabaret. And I stumbled across a little place called Bistro 120 on Church Street here in Toronto. And a group of sisters, a trio called the All Sisters, all in their early 20s, not my generation, but they put on a show that night. It was everything from the Great American Songbook right up to like yesterday. And they sing close 3-part harmony like the Andrews Sisters. And they're in their 20s, and they're sisters, and they're adorable, and they're musically educated and so giving and talented. And I thought, I want them to be our youth contingent. I want this music to continue. So these are the people who will continue this music and carry it on and pass it down to the next generation.
Let's give a shout out. Who's your violinist and who's your pianist?
Moshe Hammer's our violinist, and David Warwick is our pianist, our musical director. He's done all the arrangements.
So you
Great.
put this all together. Quite all these ingredients can really what an impactful show, and it actually premieres 1 week today, Friday, November 3rd on Vision TV.
Yeah, 8:30.
Yeah. And so some of the songs, I'm reading there, Danny Boy.
Yes.
Glowworm. Did you have a live audience when you taped
We
the
had
show?
a live audience at every one of the shows, and it was such a great thing because I told you about when I saw the camera panning through Patty Page's audience, all these faces.
Yeah.
I thought, well, our show will end with the audience panning of the audience.
Nice.
Well, instead, they're all up singing and dancing with us.
Oh, dancing's allowed?
Dancing, and everyone came on camera, and suddenly this whole energy just took off at the end of the show, and we were kind of like dying on our feet because we've been performing ourselves.
Well, isn't this contagious? Marilyn, that's what it comes
was.
down to. You see someone singing and dancing to something, you can't sit back. You got to get up.
You do, and they did, and they just entered into this. I mean, the whole thing was just magical, and I kept thinking to myself, well, I don't know, who knows? We've done 5 shows, and we'll do a kind of a best of show,
Nice.
and who knows if we'll get to do any more? I hope we do. But even if we don't, I think, you know something? I don't think there's another show like this around.
No.
We
This
need
is an
this.
original. I really do.
We need this in the world. We really do.
It's on the air 1 week tonight, next Friday, November 3rd on Vision TV. And you can check your local listings for the channel that it'll be on. Come sing with us. Come dance with us with Marilyn Lightstone.
That's great. It is called your all-time classic hit parade. Looking forward to singing and dancing along
you.
at home, in the privacy of my own home. There you go.
By the light of the silvery moon.
Will you drop by from time to time and let us know about the upcoming
Gosh,
episodes?
I'd love to do that.
All right. We
Really.
mentioned some of the songs, Rock Around the Clock. And how about this one here? Why Do Fools Fall in Love?
Oh, love it.
Thank you, Marilyn.
Thanks, Marilyn. Best of
Bye.
luck.
Doom, ba, da, doom, ba, da, doom, ba, da, doo, doo, ooh. ooh, ah, ooh, ah.